Hello friends and welcome back for episode 45 of our Rogue Legacy Let's Play. We are here with Lady Lisa the 8th, who is a spell sword, and I just want to take a moment before we get started here and highlight how freaking badass the fact that the spell sword has a sword, but it's made of spells and you can't see it, and she walks around holding nothing until she needs to strike you. How cool would that be if you're just, some guy walking around and you're like, I will strike you, and then a psionic blade comes out of your hand. Anyway, I just thought that was super cool. So let's recap. Where we are right now. We have very, very little to go right now. We've got 61 out of 75 on magic damage up. Each one of those are going to cost about 10,000. Alright, so it might take us like 2 or 3 more really good runs to finish that out, and then we've just got that little bit of rune action going on over here on the Enchantress. It's not so little, actually. There's quite a few things to buy, but I don't think it'll be nearly as expensive as the stuff over there in that world is. So, with that, I guess we will jump into the castle as a level 493 spell sword and see what we can do as far as damage goes. I was considering putting on another grace rune just to see if that would ingratiate me. No, that doesn't work. Never mind. I wasn't going to do that. Alright, so we've got a full room full of starlets. I don't know what you want to call these guys. I don't really like them with their normal name being Planky. I feel like they have a better name secretly. That I don't know what it is. Let's just go up here and get to the chest. Oh, I'm not even going to be able to do that. Alright, well, that's one way to do it. I'm going to try and remember to use my oversized spells, and also the fact that I have randomized spells with this character is kind of important. Scumbag Nick wastes his entire run trying to climb up a set of barrels, evidently. That'll be the... Oh, man. It's like one of those greased pole competitions. You ever see that, where they get a bunch of people to wear swimsuits and then, like, climb up a greased pole? It's pretty silly stuff. And that's exactly how I feel right now. I've wasted almost half of my HP trying to climb up to the top of this insurmountable task, evidently. Okay, I'm gonna get there. I have to. I mean, the amount of time I put in at this point. Yeah! A small amount of gold was totally worth it, right? Anyway, I want to get this last star dude, and then I will crush the rest of these barrels to death. Oh, you don't even have any gold in there for me. What a jerk bag. Alright, so that was basically the dumbest beginning to any run I've done so far in the series, I think. Unless I'm forgetting something. Did I point out also when I was talking about how cool it is that the dude can produce a sword out of his or her hand, that also it makes this really badass, like, high-pitched sound sometimes? I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it feels really satisfying to swing the thing with that sound attached to it. I should have put another grace rune in, shouldn't I have? Not good enough with the spell sword. I mean, again, I'm not using my spells, so maybe that's why. Still. Also, I haven't gotten Flame Wall. I guess with randomized spells, you can only get certain ones, like certain mostly offensive-oriented ones. Because right now, having like a Crow Storm or a Flame Wall would be pretty cool. Just doesn't seem to be happening. I've used a bunch of them. Chicken leg, that's what I need. Alright, let's kill all the rest of this furniture. And look to our left, it looks like we've got another room over there. We'll just continue to explore the castle on the left side and work our way back over, finding dead ends as we go, hopefully. Well, not hopefully finding dead ends, but you know what I mean. I want to find them so I've accomplished as much of the map, finishing it out as I can. Alright, we got a couple knights down here. Should be able to pogo bounce on their heads for a while. They can't do a single thing about it. You'd think, when they were in knight training school, somebody would have told them, like, hey, if somebody's bouncing on your head, here's what you do. Especially because you have a special, like, a long-range weapon like that. Some sort of, like, a falchion or something. Alright, can we... There we go. That's more like it. Man, there's a lot of tough dudes in here. Actually, they're not all that tough. I forgot. I guess I'm sort of still in this position where I feel like everything's harder than it actually is. So now we may have nearly potentially 2 purchases of stats. Take no damage. I don't think I've ever succeeded at this one. And throwing spells at it is not really going to help. If I had like a dash move or some kind of like invisibility or kill projectiles maybe. Like it is though, I don't think it's going to be possible. I don't even know how to begin this one, because if you don't get the timing perfect right from the start, you're done. If I could run along with them, maybe that would be nice. I guess I'll just take some hits and see what happens. Because I have to jump, right? I gotta jump over... Nope. Alright, well that was way better than I thought I would do, to be honest. Gave it, you know, the old college try. Ironically enough, in college, I didn't give a lot of things the old college try. Neither did a lot of people, I suppose. College was a weird place. Especially art school, I suppose, is a whole different group of people. But then you get them all intermingling with the rest of the people from all the other programs, and it's like, I don't know what to make of any of this. Alright, got an ice dude here. Ison. M. Ison. Is that a thing? I don't think so. Oh, another one. Is that one even an Ison? I don't know. I'm calling them whatever I feel like. I'm just gonna take the damage here and grab that. Totally worth it to me. I'm not gonna grab the single coin, though. I'm not an equal opportunity damage taker, evidently. Kind of a scumbag. Alright, to our right, little fireball, and another treasure chest. Alright, I like the way this is going so far. Let's keep that same attitude going forward. Below us, I think that was the... Yeah, that was a teleporter, so below us would have been Dark World. Oh, excuse me. All kinds of monsters in this room. And evidently they're awfully strong today. Should just put like a Jedi class in this, I mean, why not? Scumbag Nick uses sword spells all the time. Spell sword spells. I don't know. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the problem is here. My head is like not being able to wrap around the concept of like using spells equally, if not more, than using melee. And for some reason, it's overwhelming my ability to even speak. I'm concentrating as hard as I can on using the correct buttons to keep the angry comments at a minimum. It's funny that there is like this very specific sequence of events that can take place where if you do them right, people will be happy with you, and if you do them wrong, people will be very angry with you. I mean, in the scheme of things, not really angry, but just like in a fleeting moment, I will have upset people by pressing sometimes the Y button not enough, sometimes the X button not enough, I don't know. Usually the first one of the two. It's just sort of strange. You know, it's like there's a series of buttons in front of you, and they are rigged to stimulate the pleasure center of your brain. And if you press the wrong ones, it will shock you. And then just substitute out the shocking with, like, being able to afford stuff in your life. It's a really weird concept. Up we go, and it looks like we're headed to the Maya. I think I'm just going to roll with it, because why not? Alright, I'll just run right into that. Alright, alright. I should probably look at the things that I'm about to throw. That is one of the issues... with having the spell sword with revolving spells like that, is that I don't always have the time to look above me, so I'm not sure what the spell that I'm about to throw at the enemy is going to be. And that time it was the giant sword wall, like 5 times in a row, so sucks to be me, I guess. Is that going to break? Yes, it will. So I've been having a little bit of a change in my usual schedule, the way things have been going for the last year or so to now, because as you probably all know, or, you know, if you follow this type of thing, you probably know, or if you use news sites in general, you probably know, that Google Reader has shut down a while back, and for most people, you know, it's probably not that big of a deal, because there's plenty of other sites that can aggregate your RSS feeds for you and deliver them however you see fit. That was really dumb. Alright. But in my case, you know, I've gone through a number of them. I've tried a bunch of other options, and I've sort of reached the point where none of them have the features I want, as far as I can tell. And everybody's like, use Feedly, and then I try that, and it doesn't work. And then they say, use whatever, and I try that, and it doesn't work. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't work as well as the way I had things set up with Google Reader, because I actually have, like, the iGoogle homepage, which I know is also going away in the next few months. And I had that set up so my all my RSS feeds showed up on my homepage, so when I came to, like, my internet portal I would be able to view all of that information, and it would just be, you know, part of my daily routine. When I check my email, I read up my RSS feeds. All of that stuff was delivered in the same places like my calendar, so it all was in one spot. And now those things are all spread out again, and it's like I don't even have a service that seems to work properly with my phone the way I like, so I just like don't have a dependable way to read my RSS feeds the way I like. And most people say, okay, why don't you just bookmark all the sites? Well, I follow like, I don't know, between 30 and 50 gaming news sites and stuff, so it's sort of at the point now where I just don't really read any news information like in the industry aside from what I find on Twitter, which is really surreal to me because for a while I was reading between like 100 and 200, maybe more than that, articles a day, maybe like up to 500 articles a day depending on how busy of a day it was. And now I'm just like, I'm not doing that at all. So I mean, I've freed up a whole bunch of time, but I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. But then in another weird level, I feel kind of like, well, most of that stuff really wasn't all that useful information anyway. And now I'm getting like all these supplemental PR emails telling me about, you know, X indie game has released and you should go watch the trailer and download the trailer at this thing and maybe write an article about. Well, I don't really write articles, so a lot of those emails sort of fall on deaf ears for me. I mean, as much as it's useful to find out about some of this information, like the majority of what I get in a lot of other ways. Did I really just find the same task again? I thought I just went through this room. So it's strange that I could have gone from one position to the other so drastically, and yet I'm sort of indifferent about it now, if that makes any sense. I mean, I want my RSS stuff back, but at the same time, it's like I could also probably just live without it now. And had I been asked that a few months ago, I would have been like, absolutely not. I need to hear all this information all the time. I need to know what's going on in the industry. And I do, but I kind of don't, I guess. I mean, the majority of what I do is revolving around indie games. And I do still follow all the industry stuff, you know, when it's really important. But right now, I guess I really don't need all the minutia, you know, the moment-to-moment information that is mostly just... okay, controversy at GameStop, someone's being sued for this reason, it's like, it's not helpful to me, I guess, at this point. I don't really need to know. So I'm just coming to grips with that, and it just feels very odd. And it sort of makes me wonder, like, what do you guys do about your gaming news and information? Is this a thing that you regularly follow? Because, you know, I would say that I'm, like, pretty hardcore involved with that stuff, yet I still don't feel all that bad about it. It's very strange. It really is hard to describe exactly the level of indifference, like apathy versus care, because they're both happening simultaneously in parallel, but neither seems to be able to overpower the other into actually making me take action in one way or the other, so I don't know. I mean, I did take action for a while, and now it's just sort of like, okay, whatever. So yeah, if there comes to be another service that is roughly identical to Google Reader, and if I could find a service that is roughly identical to the iHome or iGoogle page, that would be lovely as well, because I'd really love to have like these little widgets and my RSS stuff and my calendar and all that stuff available in one spot, but you know, it's all synchronized through Google, so if it's on any other service, I'm essentially going to be shooting myself in the foot in a way. So I don't know, it's very strange. Kind of don't really want to like migrate all of my stuff over to any other service because I sort of am guilted into a position here since I have all of my information already on Google. It's like, well, I don't mind as much giving them this information because they already have it, you know? But if I were to jump into another service, I would feel guilty then. Because it's like, alright, new service means I don't know what they're going to do with my information. At least with Google, I already kind of swallowed, like, what's going on with them. Oh, really? Is that how that just went? I was not paying attention to my axes, and evidently I was throwing them... I guess they must have patched that in or something, or I just was, like, that oblivious. Alright, let's go back to the right. There seems to be another room up above. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys have as far as like what your setup is for keeping on top of this information, because there's so much of it, and so much of it is completely trivial. You know, occasionally there's a good article, you know, like an op-ed type piece, and I would generally try and read through everything. But it got to be to the point now where I don't have enough free time, I guess, so I'm sort of feeling like it's a bit of a relief. Maybe that's what's the thing that's counterbalancing the apathy that I'm feeling, is like, okay, I'm kind of happy that I have a little bit more time now. Because I'm filling it up in other ways, you know, doing more and more videos, being part of more and more collaborations and live streams. It's like that, all of that stuff, and the constant never-ending, you know, discussions of things, they're all happening live and all the time. So filling up that other little bit of excess time that I used to have with reading about information that potentially might not really matter at all, I guess I'm sort of finding solace in knowing that I don't have to do that, and I can still, you know, get away with it, or I don't know, maybe get away with it is not the right thing to say, but I can still feel like I'm engaged in what's going on in the industry, and I don't have to feel quite as pressured. It's a weird thing. I've said that enough times now. So let's play as Lady Antoinette, the 6th, the barbarian queen, who is nearsighted and has gigantism. Yes, that is what we shall do. Alright, so we got 73,000 gold out of that. It was a little bit of an early end to that run. It could have been worse, though, so, you know, I'll roll with it. So we're down to under 10. Oh, wow. Okay, so the amount that it's going up per purchase is not all that much. And wow, look how close this is. 4 gold left. And that leaves us with just a few more purchases. So this episode, I can almost guarantee we're going to finish out all of the purchases there. And we're level 500. Holy garbage. Okay, so I've got to remember not to use spells as much now. It's a weird thing to say, considering how often I have to tell myself to use spells. I think I was going to ask before, and then I forgot because I got distracted. I was going to say something to the effect of, like, so, like, what RSS readers do you use, and how do you sync that up with your phone and all that? Like, do you have a system in place? Because that's what I look for. I was trying to have the whole system, and for a long time I did. So it was very strange when that stopped being a thing. You know, I have it, I think, what did I use? Feedler, I think it was called on iOS, which is like an RSS aggregator. Makes it easy to have whatever it is send to your iPhone, but the thing is it only supports a few things. And one of those services, other than the usual Google Reader, was I was using the, what is it, the old Reader or something like that? I don't know, I only used it for about a month, and then I think the amount of new people migrating to their service caused their servers to go down, so it's like, for about a week I just had like no RSS anyway. So I just sort of said screw it, you know? Anyway, I guess I'll drop this topic now. I think it's been explored at length. But it's sort of a curious thing because, you know, we're all sort of in this experience together. All varying levels of interest, I suppose. Some of us are more engaged than others. But to a degree, we're all involved in the game industry. Whether we're on the, you know, one side of the fence or the other, we still are curious what's going on. And I feel like there is some pressure, whether you're just, you know, at a consumer level, or if you're at a press level, or if you're at an industry like, you know, PR level, or there's a lot of levels, I have to say. And then, you know, the people that are actually involved with the companies producing these goods and services. I guess that would put you at, like, you know, directly media level, but, you know, whatever. I'm curious how that all fits together for various people. And I've had people in press just be like, hey, just like follow a couple of websites because they all sort of copy each other's articles anyway. And you're not wrong, as sad as it is to say. I've definitely seen a number of times where, like, whatever the story of the moment is, like, all of the major news article sites, you know, your Kotaku, Joystick, potentially stuff like Engadget if it's, you know, a techie-oriented thing. What are the other ones? There's like a dozen more. Polygon, obviously, Giant Bomb, Destructoid, all of those sites. I mean, usually the last couple ones I just mentioned tend to take a bit of a different stance on things, or tend to look at it in a slightly different way, but like a lot of the first few that I mentioned tend to just be like, okay, here's basically the same story you just read on the other site with slightly different words. And I understand that's just how news works. I mean, there is just literally a story to tell, and there's only so many ways to convey that story, so it's not like they're just directly plagiarizing each other or anything, and I'm not saying that by any means. That would be an awful thing to accuse them of, and they're of far more integrity than that, although I'm sure some of you have your own varying opinions. I'm still of the belief that they're generally on the up and up, although, you know, it all varies. User experience may vary depending on what's going on. Anyway, it's just an interesting thing to look at in scope of, you know, how you perceive your news from the end user. You know, if you see 5 articles basically roughly with the same heading, like, are you gonna go read them all? I would often do that, strangely enough. I don't know why I needed it. I guess I'm compelled to find all the sources about things. I don't know if you guys are the same way, but it's like I want to know where the spin is happening, so I figure I could sort of take the aggregate between, or the average between all the different stories and look for where the overlaps are. Oh, I've got axes. And I still can't reach that one, so I guess screw me then. I don't think there's a single way for me to get to that, so never mind. Thought axes would be the one position where I could actually get stuff done. Alright, let's focus on just destroying some baddies here in Rogue Legacy Town, because I want to accomplish our other goal of buying all the stats today. Today is the day. I'll find my way. Alright, another chest. We're up to almost 30k gold. We needed like a good solid 100k gold run, I think. Maybe 80 to 90 would be sufficient. I don't remember already what the amount that was left was. But, you know, we've got our trusty Barbarian class. Things can't go too wrong, and we're still at nearly full health, despite having cleared out, I think, you know, a good degree of the castle already. It's still early, though. Probably didn't need that chicken leg, but I went for it anyway. I think, you know, a thing that I really like about this game is that the runs, even though they can end up getting a little lengthy at times, I think for the most part, the amount of time that you put in for each run at this level of play is just right for me. It's like roughly 10 to 30 minutes. And I think, especially for doing what I'm doing with this, you know, making videos out of it, I think that comes out perfectly. But I mean, aside from even the videos, just my own personal preference for how long I'm willing to devote my attention span to one task, I think that's about just right for me. And it's not to say that I can't go longer for things, but I think for the amount of action that we're experiencing in bursts, this is the amount that I think fits perfectly. And I think pacing is a really important thing that gets very frequently overlooked in video games. Pacing is not just about, like, accomplishing an end goal. It's about making sure that the experience is digestible in small bites along the way. And hopefully, when those things are added up together and you have the small experience, the micro and the macro working together, you end up with an enjoyable experience all the way through. And I think that's what we achieve here largely in Rogue Legacy. Let me know if you differ in your opinion. I am curious on that as well. Alright, so we're going to jump down and try and take no damage. This is going to be a tough one, though, because I am super big. So I will fall, buffer myself to the left, and hope for the best. Oh, there was one more. I thought I was all the way through all the spikes, and I positioned myself slightly wrong there. Oh well. Can't win them all. Anyway, I have mostly enough stats to do just about anything I need to do, so I'm not worried about missing out on potentially what it could have just been is like another +5 to magic damage or capacity or something. So, whatevs. There's a debate in the comments a little while ago about, like, if it makes sense to use the Slayer Sword. What sword is this one? I actually forgot. Does it say in here? Royal Sword, right. And so use the Slayer Sword instead of the Royal Sword. I'm not beyond trying it. I thought the Slayer Sword is the stuff with the extra crit chance and stuff on it, I think. And I think somebody even ran, like, the stats for that to see which one would make more sense. And I think that was the end result, was that the Slayer Sword was better. I don't know. I'll go back and look at that and probably just try using the other one again. Excuse me. How rude. I was just walking down and you just decided to smash into me. Don't do that. Alright, so where are we in the castle? We need to head to the left, down and to the left rather, and that will take us to, I guess, the last branching path on the Maya. Today I'm not so bothered by being nearsighted, but oftentimes I find that to be very frustrating. Also, who put all the peas in the piranha plants? That's what I need to know. It just really looks like they're just shooting a whole bunch of, you know, green peas out of them. They can make split pea soup out of them. That's a good soup. I like that soup. Yeah, it totally looks like that. What kind of soup do you guys like? I'm into, I like the baked, or the baked. I like the bean soups sometimes. I like the split pea soups occasionally. I like the chicken noodles and the clam chowders. I'm a big fan of. There's like that Italian wedding soup. I like matzo ball soup. I like cream mushroom soup, cream broccoli, cream just about anything. Cream corn. No, it's not really as much soup. Corn chowder. I like chowders. So many chowders. They're all good. What's that one? It's like beans and ham. I like that a lot. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh, whatever. Might as well just get all that gold out of it. I just basically count on all chests now being mimics, and I'm like almost always right. Whenever I'm in the Maya, it's like the most prevalent place to put mimics, evidently. But there's something great about soup. I don't know what it is. It's like it always hits the spot. It's always hearty. Well, it doesn't have to be hearty, but it can be. And it always seems to just it gives you the right amount of food per portion. Usually, it's usually a nice mix. It's easy to eat. You know, it's enjoyable. It usually tastes delicious. You got the broth mixing with some sort of like a pasta usually. So it's a good thing. I like wonton soup. That's a really good one too. Egg drop soup. It's like, there's very rarely a soup that somebody's going to be like, hey, you want some of this soup? And I'm like, no, that sounds terrible. I mean, I'm sure there are things like that, but I can't really think of one off the top of my head at the moment. Unless I just reach for some sort of, like, bizarre, nasty soup that sounds intentionally nasty. Which I wouldn't do. Because I have integrity. I want to be honest with my viewers. It's not right. I want to just, slander soups. Hashtag soup slanderer. Let's go down to the left. It's a strange thing that happens sometimes when I'm recording, and I want to talk about food a lot. I don't know why that has to be, but it seems to come up very often. Like, if you've watched the NLSS and we're all, babbling about whatever it is we're babbling about that day, it's like 50% of the time or more it seems to come back to food. I guess we're all hungry most of the time. And we're thinking about it and thinking about how good food is. It's weird. Part of the human condition, right? Thinking about food about half the time. You could make an argument that just about everything we do in our lives is because we're thinking about food or sex or something like that. The few things that are like required and driven by our primal needs. But that's sort of silly reductive logic. I don't like going that far. I think there are definitely more nuances to the personalities of humans beyond just our drives and, base emotional needs. They certainly do play a factor at times, but I think for the most part, the majority of things we do on a day-to-day basis are largely because we want to, and because we want to maximize the amount of enjoyment we have out of our lives. I can't really do anything about this situation, can I? I can foos at him. That's not going to help me, though. And I just want to shoot an axe downward now. Whatever. I'll just miss out on all the chests, as usual. Alright, so let's go back into the castle. There seems to be a teleporter right next to me, so I'm just going to go up and around. Grab that. And we'll take the... Oh. Why did I leave? I meant to use this to go here. So there's a big room to the right that I guess I passed up. I must have just been... Yeah, it was one of the situations where I just decided to go off on the branching path I had picked, and I never went back. Man, one crit does the same amount of damage as 3 regular hits. I forgot. Can I cheese this again? Oh, this is the one that's way too high, isn't it? I gotta get... Yeah. I just keep finding this stupid thing. Take no damage. Oh, okay. This is a really tough one to do, I have to say. And this one, I'm not even sure, like... How far into these spikes can I push my collision box? Nope, not that far, evidently. Whatevs. It's kind of silly when you get to that position because, you can't really tell if you're going to be hitting something or not. And it's not really my fault. I kind of need, like, a little outline of where the actual character starts inside of that oversized hitbox. So where do I go now? Let's go to the right or down, I guess would be our 2 options. I'd be more partial to go to the forest, potentially, so let's start out going to the right. And we'll grab that and reset our health back to full. I think we're having a pretty good run here. I mean, we're at 59 thou. Chances are looking like it's fairly likely that we'll get to where we need to be. Which again was like between 80 and 100,000. Anything above that is like I think we're done then with our task, and we can just move on to runes, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. So we're gonna go. Okay, now we need to go back, left, down, down, left. Okay. Thank goodness for this map. Imagine if there was not ever a map in this game. That would be really obnoxious. There are situations where there isn't a map, but for the most part, you do have it. Oh, I can do this room. Alright, let's just foos and axe and foos and axe. Oh, this is a big pile of enemies. I kind of like it, though. There's not enough situations where I get to just go nuts. You know, just use my Berserker Rage. Berserker Rage. Berserker Barrage. Strength increase +1. +1. Who's Juan? And now we're going to be down to the darkness. I guess I'll just clear this one room out. Why not? And then we will head back over to the right in search of the forest, which we must be pretty close to anyway. Alright, that was a pleasant room. I think having the second Grace Rune is going to help make the darkness a little bit more palatable for us. So we're going to go... Okay, I don't need to teleport. Let's just go up and to the right. Barrel, candle, barrel, picture. I sort of look at myself like, you know, in Terminator, in the movie, the original Terminator, where he's targeting all the stuff in the bar, and he's like processing, and you can see his brain like calculating like a bunch of codes going by, and it's like target acquire, target acquire. I'm sort of doing that like when I play through this game. I see all these things and I'm like, kill it, kill it, kill it, and I just keep going through that repetitive motion over and over again. Like, eyeball, acquired, kill it. Zombie, acquired, kill it. And then get the gold. It's very strange how near, well, basically exactly identical to a computer the human brain is. And they are actually powered by very similarly functional objects, just one of them is, you know, through living tissue, and the other one, more so plastic, silicon circuits and things, so... it'll be pretty interesting when we start making organic computers. Have we done that, or maybe we've already done that? I don't know. Follow science developments to some degree, but, you know, it seems like there's a new development every couple of days now, or day, even. What would be the advantage of making organic computers? Actually, really, probably just to destroy mankind, I think, right? Isn't that what we're poised for at this point? Has Skynet become self-aware yet? I think it has, right? That's what Google was doing the other day. That's probably why they took down my Google Reader, right? Because Skynet became self-aware and was like, this is too helpful. Must eliminate humans through frustration and boredom. It's kind of interesting, though, when Google makes a move like that, and they're like, hey, all you people who also do similar things as us, we're throwing you a bone here. And then they all just waffle around, and then they all just get their servers taken down by people trying to join their service all at once. So a very strange thing that happens. Like, that happens in the industry in a lot of different ways. When somebody's like, hey, we just don't want to do this thing in the market anymore because it's no longer viable for us. And then everybody else is like, oh, we were waiting for you to not do this thing because we wanted to do this thing. And then they all try and do the thing, and they just end up not doing it as well as the first person was, which is very strange, because they apparently wanted to do it in the first place. Whatever. They're going to defeat all the enemies, and get a health up, HP +5, okay. Oh, look at that, we're already at 80,000 gold. I kind of wasn't looking at the gold for a while. I feel like there's a decent probability of us actually clearing out the whole castle on this run. Just because... Well, 2 Grace Runes probably is kind of just because. Why? Just because of the wonderful things he does? Is that good enough reason? I always thought when he said that a whole bunch of times, like, because, and then, like, by the 4th or so because, it sort of just sounds like you're saying Cosby, and, like, we're talking about Bill Cosby. Like, B. Cosby is Bill Cosby, right? Because sweater is kind of where I go with that. I don't know. Bill Cosby's a cool guy. I'm not trying to put him down. He likes the Jello pudding, and he likes, he's a very intelligent guy, and he does a lot of things that have been, largely memeized for whatever reason, and I think just because it's easy to do that. But people look past the actual person, and that's kind of lame. So I'm just saying, next time you plant a Bill Cosby meme, go look into him as a person. And maybe you probably won't do that, actually. Never mind. Let's just forget I said it. The rants that come out of this show are just the silliest things. I don't even know. When I'm going into this, I'm like, I don't expect to talk about anything in particular. And then 10 minutes later, or 20, 25, 35 minutes later, I'm talking about Bill Cosby. I don't know. I could axe these guys, potentially. Or my retaliation runes, right? I have those now? So if he bones me, yeah, I said it, then he's gonna not have a happy day. Although they probably have enough health to them that that would take me way too long to kill them, so never mind. It's better off just not doing that at all. I wonder if putting more grace runes increases the frequency of finding health items at all. I would imagine not. I think it's just lowering the level of the enemies, but I don't know. It seems like there's still a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that I haven't quite picked up on, so sometimes I like to ask those types of questions. I feel like at this point I should be relatively facile with the Rogue Legacy behind-the-scenes moments. 95,000, alright, so I think we've probably achieved our goal now. And everything from there is just extra gravy on the poutine of life. I can't believe that poutine is not a thing in America. And beyond that, that not only is it not a thing in America, but Americans often make fun of poutine, which just makes no sense to me. Like, if you've lived in our culture for long enough to understand how the American ideologies work, like, we enjoy, you know, a pile of bacon with gravy on it. There's not really a problem with that amongst most people. Yet, for some reason, because it's a Canadian thing, it's like, oh, the Canadians have poutine, it's so bad for you. Whatever, man. Like, it sounds delicious. I'm not saying eat it every day. I'm just saying, like, if you want to have something really fatty and kind of not that good for you occasionally, why are we making fun of our Canadian friends? They're neighbors, man. Get over it. Why can't we all just get along? Like the most myopic thing I've ever said. But still, it just seems like, at this point, what are we fighting over? Like, we're angry at the Canadians because they have delicious food that we can also have but choose not to because we want to have some sort of stalemate of aggression? I don't understand it. Let's just make poutineries in America and enjoy the fact that this is a thing. I mean, there must be one somewhere, right? Max weight load increase +5. Yeah, I mean, I want some damn poutine. That's what I'm trying to say. And I live in New York, and as far as I know, there is not anything like that around me. So it's simply not possible. There probably is one somewhere, and I would think it would probably be in the city, in New York City, or in like California somewhere. Karen's Obel. But I don't know where it is, and I can't get to it, so for me, it's as good as not existing. Almost missed that little light pole there. So where do we still have left to go in the forest? We have a room to the right. Let's head over there. Trying to decide when I start doing challenge runs if I'm going to redo the title card again. Probably should, because I've sort of kept that as a consistent theme, like every time we reach a new element to our Rogue Legacy Let's Playing, and I like to change that up. I think it heralds in, like, you know, maybe some people that are getting bored of the thing, and they're like, oh, well, something's changed over here, maybe I'll go check this out again, and hopefully, you know, they find that I said something particularly silly in that episode, or they enjoyed the play or something like that, and they want to stick around. Take no damage. Oh, I've done this one before. I think I should be able to just fly through this as long as I can not hit the spikes as soon as I drop through this platform. There we go. Whee! HP +5. I don't get why these things are a thing. You gotta stand on the edge. That's so silly to me. Those platforms are like death traps. They're not child-proofed. Not like they needed to be. Why don't we get some skittering wolf traps? Like a skittering hotel or something to put them in. You know, like a roach motel, but like a skittering wolf hotel. And they'll just go in there, they can skitter around to their heart's content, but then I can just trap them in a box, and I can put them in that machine like they had in Ghostbusters, and then I never have to look at them again. You know? I mean, I don't mind them as creatures, I just don't want them skittering around in my world. You know, is that so much to ask? I never understood that box. Like, how did they get the ability to create a box? I mean, they probably explained it in the Ghostbusters mythos, which is totally not a thing that I'm up on by any stretch, so feel free to say that I'm just flat out wrong or dumb or whatever, or correct me or give me the proper information is probably the best thing to ask for. But I have, like, no idea where they got the ability to create some sort of a interdimensional barrier that can keep ghosts and paranormal things locked in a square. I bet Egon figured it out. That dude's pretty smart. So we're gonna go left. Can I just take a teleporter? There's not really a good one, is there? I think there's like a random one in here. Where's that gonna take me? Let's go on an adventure together. Takes me to the Maya. Okay, well, that's pretty far away from where I was trying to go. Still, there is a teleporter back over there, so I will go on that little ride, and hopefully we'll come out at the darkness area, and then we will be set to go again. And we're at 100,000 gold. I'm trying to think about, like, so I would have gotten, like, what, another potentially, like, 5 to 10,000 more gold had I kept the other Grace Rune away. Oh, this is a thing that somebody told me that I felt really dumb about. In the comments, someone was like, hey, you know that those teleporters cycle, right? You don't just, like, point in the direction you're trying to go in. And, no, I totally thought that you point your analog stick in the direction of the one you wanted to go in, so there's that. What I meant to do, or should have been doing, is just using the left and right on my D-pad to control myself, and then I wouldn't have had that issue, but now I know. And knowing is at least 9/10 of the battle. Because honestly, you know, scouting ahead, getting your reconnaissance work done, it's, you know, that kind of intelligence is what can turn the tides of war. So having a map, having the ability to navigate it, those are things that I absolutely need on my side. So you know, people say it's half the battle, I say it's 9/10 of the battle. That 1/10 though, you know, is hitting stuff with your sword. That's the easy part. Provided you are so close to the thing that you can hit it, and not so far away that it doesn't hit you. Sometimes I just give up with that part. I just sort of stand in the middle of everything and just swing. Usually works too. Oh, what a cheap chest. There's 2 diamonds in there. It's not really a cheap chest. Just, you know, by standards, sometimes I find the chests that are like, hey, we're just gonna throw gold for a while because we think you're Scrooge McDuck and we think you need a big old pile. Scrooge McDuck is quite a weird thing. Can you imagine, what would you do if you had a pile of gold so big you could swim in it? First of all, don't try and swim in it. Ever. This is the worst idea for a lot of reasons. Number one, you'll break your neck. I mean, it's been proven already, it's like cement. Just don't jump in there. Number two, the amount of disease and bacteria and nastiness that's going on all those coins, it's a hotbed. It's like, it's toxic. You shouldn't be in there. You should have some sort of a breathing mask, even. I don't know, I think I'm going too far with that. But still, money has a lot of germs on it, just saying. For those of you who are at all germophobic. Not that I'm saying you should be. I mean, you shouldn't for the most part. But, you know, wash your hands before you go shaking somebody's hand after you sneezed in it. That's what I'm trying to say. But, you know, a pool of money looks nice. Probably overrated. Still, quality problems to have, though. I mean, not that I will ever be in a position in my life to look at a pool of money. But if I was, you know, I would admire it. I would probably take a couple of Instagram pictures of it. Not put them up, and just admire them occasionally. But then, you know, I would turn that pile of money into, you know, some sort of an investment, probably, or I would put it in a place where it's safe, and not, you know, a pool of money that is then tempting every person in the entire world to come and figure out some sort of Ocean's 11 plot to steal it all. Although I guess you really don't need to have an Ocean's 11 style plot to just suck the money out of a, you know, online bank account or something. Still, you know, that's not good. Don't do that. Alright, so, ooh, this is a particularly scary room. I should probably foos a little bit in here. Just thinking of those Ocean's 11 movies, like, there were so many crazy things that happened in those, and it's such a good premise for movies, for storytelling. Like, everybody wants to cheer for them. And they always make sure that the storyteller sets up the plot in such a position that, like, you want to make sure that those are, like, the anti-heroes. It's never just like, here's a bunch of guys who are real scumbags and they're going to steal all the money. And they're also really good at it. But they're huge scumbags and they're probably going to just, like, spend the money on drugs and be awful people to more people. Like, that isn't usually a common storytelling trope. But I'm sure there is that story somewhere. I think we'd much rather, you know, cheer for the people who have charisma and are interesting and, you know, are acrobatic or, you know, particularly smart. You know, we want to cheer for the genius, even if they're necessarily not doing the best thing. This is a strange phenomena. It's like we want to just make sure, whatever the case is, we're happy about our species having this individual capable of such great, subjectively great things. Depending on your perspective, yes, subjectively. Alright, why am I not foosing more? Wow, that eyeball was strong. This run is going awfully long now. So we've got 128 thou. Forgot about the spikes down there. Take no damage. Well, that's not gonna happen. Might as well go investigate, though. Nope. Just the fact that I have to jump twice there is, like, instant death. Could have probably just flown, right? I mean, that probably would have been the safer way to go about it. Alright, there we go. And it looks like we're basically guaranteed to be able to do everything we need to do in this run. I don't know why I just killed that and then didn't pick up the coin. Alright, Skull. Castle Grey Skull. Whatever happened to He-Man? Is that still a thing? Wow, these guys are tough. But they're not throwing very many bones for this one time, I guess because of the Grace Runes. Alright, 140 thou. We're good, like, we don't have to worry anymore. I wonder how many runes I'm going to be able to buy after this. Whoa. Okay, I'm getting really careless. I need to just chill for a second here. Alright, just wait for the blood. Smack the eye. Wait for the blood, then smack the eye. That's sound advice from Rockley Smile, right? 146 thou, and getting through this room is going to be a pain in the butt again because it's too full of spikes. The spike level is too damn high. There we go. I found a nice compromise there. What do you think? Alright, hook me up with another chicken. That's good news. It would be kind of cool to go out on what could be like the final progression level episode with just a completed run. Hey look, I turned that slime into chicken. Learning new magic spells all the time. Leviosa. That's one spell that could come in handy. Anyway. 152 thou. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be capable of beating 200, which was my prior next highest goal, just because there probably isn't enough gold left in the castle at this point. Alright, cool. Another spike ball dude. And another chest. Is this the last room? I'm gonna have to check the map in a second here. Alright, so we're at 156 thou. Let's look at the map in great detail. Oh no, I think this might be the end. Okay, I'm just gonna mark off each room one by one as I move my eyes over it. Okay, the darkness looks entirely complete. Oh, wait, no, it's just the top room there. Okay, the castle looks entirely complete. The forest... Every single time I do this, by the way, somebody's like, oh, you missed a chest, you missed a room, you missed something. So, I mean, no matter how long I take looking at this, I'm still going to miss something, but I'm just sort of trying my best here. Oh, there's a room up there in the Maya that I didn't catch. Alright, let's go up and venture forth. Then what do? I just run into enemies trying to get them to explode using my retribution or my retaliation rune? Is that a thing? Alright, I got a teleporter. Let's go up here. There's no... Oh, okay, there's one right here. That'll work. Alright, left, and up. I love that huge sound when I smack the ground like that. You know, my dude's got some weight. I use dude, you know, gender-free. Not really a thing that probably I should be doing, but, you know, hopefully nobody minds. Okay, that's not really what I wanted to do there. There we go. Alright, so there's actually a few more rooms branching off of that one. Oh, it's another one of these mofos. Halfess and Berith. Might be able to get another stat out of this. But I think we are very quickly approaching the... Oh, well, a bunch more gold. I'm fine with that as well. We're very quickly approaching the very last room. And, alright, that would be where we are not, actually. There's still another room after this. I think. Yeah. I'm sort of looking at the map and also trying not to die, because now I've just run into the end of my life, it looks like. Nearly, anyway. Oh, this is going to be the silliest thing in the world if I just can't, like, finish the last couple of rooms. I don't know, this is the last room. Right? Alright, let's get to safety first. Safety first, as they say, and keep... Oh, there's another room branching off the bottom. I missed that one. What was the question mark in the other room? I already forgot. Wasn't this just where I fought the giant skeletons? Oh, it's just that I finished doing that. Okay. And below us... Oh, one more final room with some mimics and angry paintings. 173 thou. Not a bad run, if I do say so myself. Alright, and that would be game. 176k with 82 health remaining. We barely made it. And I will just look one more time to make sure that I've gotten everything. Looks like everything on the left is complete. Everything right above me is complete. I already checked the castle, already checked the forest, already checked the darkness. So yeah, we're done. That's game. So I guess all I could really do at this point is just run around some more until I just bump into enough spike balls or something to kill me. Or I could just try and go to the end. Which I'm probably not going to do. Let's just spike ball myself to death. And get another little bit of gold out of it. Objective failed. Can I cheese my way through here and die on these spikes? It's always an entertaining way to go. No, I guess not. I honestly wonder at all if... I don't know if the people making this game, Celador Games guys, have watched any of my Let's Play of this. But just in the event that maybe they would have seen that I found like some of those little bug type things, maybe they've like patched those away. It would be kind of cool to be like inadvertently beta testing a game through playing it. Could kill these guys. Wouldn't really help me in any way though. Can't reach them anyway. And they're tough. Give me magnetic gold, please. I want. Give me, give me. Oh yeah, these guys. Stupid boxes. Alright, let's just suicide on the spike wall then. The end. Lady Antoinette, you've done a great thing for your lineage, I have to say. Everybody's going to be very proud of you going forward. You'll go down in the annals of history. And the monsters are still building. This is what an entire castle's worth of monsters looks like. When it goes below that little banner, it should just stop drawing the banner, I think. So that's, yeah, the entire castle right there distilled into one picture for you. Alright, let's spend some money. I don't know who we're going to pick yet. I guess we'll just set us up with, like, a Spelunker, I guess. Fine. Alright, let's finish off this. And we've still got almost 100,000 gold to spend. So there it is. One completed skill tree. 45 episodes later. Here we are. And let's go spend on runes. Might as well just buy them, like, one at a time, right? I think I should be able to buy everything. Wait, what was that? totaled? We just spent like 30? Okay, it might be close actually. Okay, maybe we won't be able to spend it all and get them right now anyway. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Alright, that's cool. Each one is now 6,825, so we'll just have to go next run for a little bit more of that. I'm gonna put on... I'm gonna do Grace Runes and 3 gold find, and then probably put on like gold armors. I'll figure this out on the next run. But this one has gone on long enough, so this is technically the very end of our second most important mission, which was finish out all the stats. So the first was get the equipment, second was get all the stats, third is going to be get all of the runes, and fourth is challenge runs to our heart's content. So we will be accomplishing the last of our goals before we reach that next time. So thank you, as always, for hanging out, especially long episode today, almost an hour, so like a double episode, I guess. Well, just a single double. Single double. Whatever. So thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate all your kind comments and all of the criticisms and suggestions and ideas and all the just great dialogue we've had. So please do continue with that. If you're still enjoying the series, please be sure to leave your support in one form or another. Likes are always appreciated if you think I deserve them. And I am very much looking forward to still doing this series, even though we are reaching sort of the end of the main thrust of what I was going for. Like I've said a number of times, we still be doing some other variations on things. So, provided you guys are still enjoying it, still want to watch the series, we will be going on from there. It might not become an everyday thing, so please don't be upset with me if other series start to take over. But I do still want to keep running Rogue Legacy for a while yet. So thank you again. I will talk to you real soon, and have a lovely night. Later.